Okay, so I'm the type of guy that loves the Anarchy in the Arena concept, especially when this was during the time when it first started. There was still a bit of a pandemic of sorts going on, still declared like, and well, names just still haven't been the same since. And when I heard that AEW was going to do Anarchy in the Arena again this year, I was excited because now it was factoring in the Elite storyline they're doing with the EVPs, the Corporate Rainmaker, and the Scapegoat Jack Perry, since he's been on a roll since the tape came out, which I'm still against doing, and why I have never talked about AEW's match with the Elite versus the Young Bucks versus FTR, because it just was an uncomfortable subject for me, especially when it involves around the worst week of my life as a wrestling fan, when we had the death of Bray Wyatt and the Brawl-In event that led to Punk's termination and almost could have been his ending run in wrestling as a whole. That didn't happen, but he's in WWE now. I have not talked about anything Punk's done in WWE because the subject is just too sore to me, but it is what it is. But yeah, the Elite, besides Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, even though this whole thing could have been prevented, Hangman just was told ahead of time that Punk had nothing to do with Colt Cabana. He's more or less tried to move on, from what I've gathered, throughout this entire debacle that started with him, and I don't know if he ever regrets what he said. No idea. I don't know him like that. Like, I know Kenny Omega to the extent that he's insane, but that's never mattered. And Kenny Omega came back and said that he's still an EVP. Then with dealing with the diverticulitis moment, he decided, okay, look, I know my doctor told me I shouldn't do anything risky since anything could happen that leads to my death, but I want to take bumps. And then Kenny's doctor immediately went ahead and screamed into the void, wondering how the hell is he still breathing at this point, and how he has not lost his mind or demand a raise. And then originally Eddie Kingston was supposed to be part of this match, but he got injured. You have made a very powerful enemy, Dave Kid. See, all of humanity will heal my crimes. It's not about the king, the mad king. It's about the message. And they wrote him off because he had to get surgery, and it's now going to be gone throughout the entire rest of the year and a good portion of next year. Boo! But yeah. So I was curious of how Bryan Danielson came back after taking a Tiger Driver in '91, because of course. And I was like, damn, who are we gonna get to replace the Elite, to replace Eddie Kingston? Like, you could probably do Ricky Starks. Let's be real, he needs to be doing something. Like, seriously, what the hell? Nope. Instead, they brought back Darby Allin, who has had the most destructive year of his entire life. Because originally he was supposed to climb Mount Everest, and then that failed because he broke his foot thanks to Jay White, subsequently making him the hero of the day. But let's see, and before that, before he came back, not only did he have his foot broken, he also jumped off of a ladder and crashed into glass and looked absolutely destroyed and wrecked. And then he got his nose broke during an exercise training thing, or whatever it was. Then he got hit by a bus. The jury's still out on how on earth he's still alive. So he got hit by a bus, damaging his body even more, and I was like, I have no idea if this is a good thing or a bad thing that he didn't climb. But anyways, yeah. So, Darby Allin comes back, even admitting that he's not 100%, which is 20 different things wrong, but he comes back with a fucking flamethrower. I must stress, Tony Khan came public and said that Darby Allin has a license to set fire. Which makes me go, are you all kidding me? So let's see, we got fetish, perverted, insane man named Bryan Danielson. We got Darby Allin. Oh my God, how is this guy still breathing at this point? And how is he not in a wheelchair? And the only normal guys, FTR, though Dax Harwood out because he's been hiding an injury from the AEW medical team and Tony Khan because, of course, which I will just say once again, I still am disappointed that this will be Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes' legacy in wrestling in my eyes, knowing that they propagated this trending idea that you must work, even when your body is half mutilated. Like, I know pain is a constant companion in wrestling, but like, at the level where they admit, oh yeah, by the way, I pulled muscles, I'm dealing with multiple injuries, I have a torn ACL, can I go out there and wrestle? Yes, okay, I don't want to lose my spot. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought we were done with this trend. I really was hoping we were done with this trend. That was something that should have stayed in the past. And every time when they come out and say that people commend them, saying like you did what was right, you thought you were doing what you were right, I would just be like, am I supposed to be cheering for this? Am I supposed to say, way to go, Dax, you knew what to do was right? He should have done that when it happened. I know these wrestlers are obsessed not wanting to lose their spot, but come on. Do you want to think about the next 50 years, or do you want to think about the next 5? Like, I know wrestling is a huge factor in a lot of these guys' lives, and maybe I'm just speaking from the perspective of a fan, but like, it's just something that frustrates me to no end. So now Dax Harwood's out, and that means Cash Wheeler is the only sane one left, though I'm at this point realizing that he might have something hiding too. Let's see, so that happened, and you were gonna have Cash Wheeler and the idiot brigade of insane asylum, pain-tolerant, fetishing, death-defying stuntmen fighting the Elite, which consists of grown children, as CM Punk calls them, a corporate rainmaker who's the only sane one left, and the Jungle Boy Jack Perry, who lost his absolute mind over glass. So naturally, this is the combination for a complete disaster of insanity. And we got this match, it went going, and they were fighting all over the arena as per the law, and then you want to know how crazy this match was? Eric Bischoff, the premier hater of AEW that's not Jim Cornette, came out and says, that was bold of them. And I was like, oh my God, we are in the Twilight Zone. Eric Bischoff has just complimented AEW in 2024. We've reached the epicenter of life, my friends. But as they're brawling and fighting all over the arena, they go ahead and cut off Darby Allin's music because, of course, Darby's music was the one playing. They didn't have John Moxley this time around, so there's that. Damn. And then the EVPs, Matt and Nick, cut off the music and say, play our music instead. And then they start playing their music and they're brawling all over the arena. And then Bryan Danielson's like, no, cut the music. We're not listening to that. Instead, he asked them, I got a better song. I'm gonna one up this more than Microsoft and Sony ever did with their consoles during that one generation that no one likes to talk about. And sure enough, they play the final countdown. Of course they do, because it's the final countdown. The final countdown, final countdown. It's the final countdown. And then Darby Allin jumps off the crowd. Yeah, that sounds about right. And they play it in loop for a couple more times. before the Young Bucks tell them to cut that music off because apparently it's costing them $200,000 for every loop. Yeah, I can believe that. And they're fighting all over the arena. They're fighting everywhere. And then Darby Allin was the MVP of this match, mostly because we knew that was going to happen. Darby tries to drown Jungle Boy. Of course, he tries to drown Jack Perry. And then they fight more. Then we cut away from them. Then we see Corporal Moneymaker Okada, who is honestly doing the best work I've seen in a long freaking time. Just having fun and doing all that personality stuff that was so long denied for years. And then they decide, because everyone's insane, and Darby Allin no doubt pitched this, decide to have himself get run over by Jungle Boy Jack Perry's Scapegoat bus. Must I mention these people are insane? So, yeah, apparently Jack Perry missed and was unconscious, so I don't know what happened on that front. And then he's covered in water or something, but also, they also threw everyone into the tube that the Young Bucks came out of, so that was hilarious. Let's see. Jungle Boy Jack Perry comes out, goes to, I shall save the day. Sees Tony Khan and lunges at him, so I'm pretty sure Jack Perry should have been fired after that, by the logic of this company. Yeah. And then, as that was going on, Darby Allin was, trapped and everything, and then he came out with the flamethrower and set Jack Perry on fucking fire. This is where we are. We got toasty jungle boy nonsense. So he's a toasty scapegoat now. And Tony Khan, he disappears. We never see him again after he gets lunged and nearly set ablaze as well. Turns out when he after he was let go, he rolled down the crowd in a video and then subsequently ran into the back, which I saw some people get mad about that, and it's like it's breaking the illusion. Like, if they showed it on TV, I would have agreed, but they didn't. They could have easily just said he went to the security, got him out, and really the only thing would be breaking the illusion effect. But yeah, that happened. And so, and then as this intense war goes on, Dax Harwood gets concertoed by an exploding chair, because of course we had to go there, because the Young Bucks had to contribute their nonsense. And just when I was like, okay, we reached this. Okay, are we done now? Are we done? And then they get a lifting cable to tie up Darby Allin and raise him above the ring, where Martha Hart is in the show. On the week Owen Hart died. Now, allow me to just go ahead and say this stuff, and just to get it out of the way. If I was in charge and that was proposed, I would have said no. Just out of pure respect for Owen Hart's death and what happened to the other company that did this, that let the death of Owen Hart happen because of their incompetence. Would I have done that? No. Would I booked that? No. However, Tony Khan, there was a huge issue with that. Mostly from the grounds of, I forgot to mention Darby Allin also had a masked faceplate with spikes on it, because why the fuck not? Here's the thing about why it bothers me from if this was me booking the show, I would have done that, but from a perspective of what happened behind the scenes, no doubt, because Tony Khan no doubt was told by Darby Allin, can we do this? Here's why I think it doesn't bug me like it really could have, is because one, they're not going all the way high in the air, so he's just like a few feet off the ground, okay? I am certain that Tony Khan went to Martha and said, can we do this? If you say no, we won't. Because he did this with Sting when they wanted to recreate the Rafters entrance that Sting used to do before Owen Hart's passing. Tony Khan reportedly went to Martha and said, can I get your blessing? If you say no, we won't do it. And sure enough, Martha gave her blessing. So, even though it had nothing relating to what happened with Owen Hart, but there was a respect to be made there, and there was an understanding of this could be a problem if someone, if our sponsor, if our deal with Owen Hart's foundation was to go awry, and plus Martha Hart is a key important figure in AEW lore, I could understand them just going to Martha and saying, look, if you say no, we won't do it. Martha, I think, really gave the okay on this. But people got really mad. And I was just like, some people were like, then why is Martha still gatekeeping Owen Hart from WWE inducting him? And I'm just like, there's a difference between what that event did and what AEW did on the grounds that Owen Hart is gone because of what WWE's negligence did and cost-cutting measures. And people still find a way to blame Owen Hart because they said he fiddled with the thing. Like, okay, if he did, that was probably a dumb idea. But also, at the same time, Vince McMahon didn't test it, and he always would test things himself to ensure the safety. And this, for some reason, a made exception for odd reasons, and has never been done. And Vince still kept doing stunts after this, which different. You can have an argument if Vince knew or not. If something goes wrong, then clearly there was no safety precautions made. Considering Vince did the entrance that Shawn Michaels did a few WrestleManias in the past, when he had his iconic match with Bret Hart. Like I said, I wouldn't have done that if I was the booker. Because this was a sad week, because we remembered Hana Kimura's death around this time. Bray Wyatt's birthday was on the day Owen Hart died, so that made it even more bitter. Owen Hart's death that that same time, and also Rila Shad, who died rescuing his son in the water. So, yeah, there's a lot of bitter pills to deal with on that in this particular week when Double or Nothing aired. Like I said, I wouldn't have done it, but if Tony Khan went to Martha and said, can we do this? If you say no, we won't. If that happened, fine. And I'm pretty sure that did happen because he did this with Sting. Regarding Sting's Rafter entrance, he did. So, fine. Moving on. Darby Allin gets kicked in the head multiple times with spiked shoes. Okay, is this a conspiracy? Is there a secret wrestling god cabal group forming that's dedicated to try and make Darby Allin realize the fragility of life? If this is the case, then you're making Final Destination look like Child's Play. And not the Chucky doll Child's Play. Beyond that, Bryan tries to save the day and then gets his ass kicked. I'll get to him. And Darby is just left hanging there, still up in the air, dead to rights. And then Jungle Boy Jack Perry kicks Bryan with the knee, mocking him, and then getting the pinfall for his team and whatnot. And I'm just like, Okay, the match is finally over. Oh god, this was the slowest, goriest train wreck I ever saw, and I can't believe I loved every second of it. Like I said, I wouldn't have done the cable thing, lifting Darby Allin up. That's just me. Then there are people who think that too. But if they went through proper procedural, as in being a somewhat decent good guy, and just ran it through with Martha, if she was cool with it, fine. And it clearly, as of now, it's still the case because the Owen is still happening. With #1 contendership stipulations given too for All In. Props. So, the Elite have defeated Team AEW and this contingent. And then a few weeks later, Darby Allin almost got his already broken nose ripped off by a dog. Because, why the fuck not? Seriously, what the hell? Anyways, enough about my conspiracy that the wrestling gods are trying to make Final Destination look like a kid's show for Darby Allin. Which now makes me think if Final Destination ever was to make a proper comeback, they should definitely cast Darby Allin and make him survive somehow every single stunt. The Elite are now going for another war, this time in blood and guts. Which is like, okay, how else? Okay, with who this time, and how are you going to top the violence with that one? And I don't know yet. We'll see. But it's just maddening what we saw. It just was. It's now this could just be me, that we're all horrible people just loving the grotesque violence and all. Some people actually argued that they should retire this match because there's no way they're gonna top it. Which you can have that argument. Maybe they can, but at the same time, I don't want them to top this, mostly for the fact that this is a death sentence waiting to happen. Let's see. Like I said, Darby Allin was the highlight of this match because it's like he's damn sure trying his damnedest to be like, look, if I'm not climbing Mount Everest this year, I'm gonna do every damn thing possible to make sure that I don't make it. But if I make it, I'm gonna climb the mountain like I said I would, and I'm probably gonna go crazy doing it. He's gonna be an arm and barely functioning torso at this point. In fact, he's just gonna be like Mr. Krabs when he got his whole body bitten off besides his arm, shoulder, besides his shoulder and head. And so I was still talking, but that's a different horrifying moment. Darby's gonna end up like that at this point, or he's gonna when he gets to the first point to enter the mountain to start fighting, he's gonna basically be Leonardo DiCaprio from The Reverend after being mauled by a bear, be like, and I won't be surprised if Darby somehow makes it to the top, plants its flag on the ground, and be like, I conquered Everest! And I'm somehow still alive. I don't know. I'm like, I gotta get back down, but like, I'll probably jump down, but like, I survived! So, that's all I could give. Darby Allin didn't even get re-injured in this match, so that's a miracle. Despite all the insanity, Jack Perry was alright. Probably got some burnt up hair, but still. He was said to be alright. Like the fight, like, here's the thing. Now, some people actually really hated Jack Perry getting on fire, and I'm like, why does this work, and why does, Joey Janela's constant stupidity boot on fire route he did? Well, for one, the biggest difference is safety equipment. Joey Janela reportedly didn't even want safety equipment involved, and he ended up burning the ring a bit. because he was trying to stomp out his melting boot, whereas Jack Perry was set on fire from starting his protective leg gear to getting immediately hosed down with fire hydrants by the Young Bucks rather quickly, so there was no inherent damage given yet. So, yeah. And people keep saying why this will prove why AEW will never succeed WWE at the number one promotion. It's like, oh my god. We're not... Okay, here's the thing. Okay, we can have this argument. AEW's vision has drastically changed from where it was in 2019. It's big now. It's the number 2 promotion, and I always hear saying people that it will never be taken seriously, that will always be a distant number 2. It's like, that's the idea. That was the core, to be an alternative. If we just went ahead and made AEW number 1 and WWE would be the distant number 2, we'd be right back where we started with the industry when Vince McMahon bought WCW. It's one of the reasons why I laughed and found it funny that Tony Khan would consider buying WWE just for the shock value alone, but at the same time it would be inherently stupid because we don't want another monopoly running things where there's just the big powerful empire and all the small little town folk that get to play in its kingdom only to be stomped out when it feels like it, and under the illusion that we are doing this for your interests. Like WWE did to the UK scene, or WWE did to Evolve, and I will not, and I still cannot believe they have the balls to do that to Evolve, where they went as far as to have Evolve have their show that they've been requesting for months to a year, only to have it on the same night as a charity show, which is like all kinds of messed up. Like, am I the only one who thinks that was a messed up thing they did? Okay. But yeah, AEW core principle is alternative. Competitive, probably. Yeah, it's competition, definitely. They're part of the big 2. It's like Marvel and DC. But this is where, AEW's core is to be an alternative, not be a copycat, or else we might as well just watch WWE and lose our collective minds when they run an episode of Raw that's 3 hours long, that should be at least 2 hours and 30 minutes, and that's pushing it enough. But that's just me speaking. Maybe we'll talk about this more in depth down the road, but I don't know. It's just, I just need to get that out there. I talked about it on the AEW Crew podcast. We'll see where things go on that front. Yeah. This was your host, Eric Brown of Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out another content description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all again next time. Peace. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you all again next time. Peace.